Well, hello everyone, welcome back guys, hope you're all doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin back again with another lab, and in today's lab we are going to again engage with the same site cookie attribute, and we need to bypass this attribute with the value strict. So as you can see, this is the most recommended setting for the same site cookie attribute. Last time we follow the redirection from the client side, but this time we need to do it via sibling domain. So what is sibling domain? This is not a rocket science, and you already know, but the term used here is a bit different. You can match it with the subdomain. Okay, and we will come to that point later once we solve the lab. The description of this lab is saying this lab's live chat feature is vulnerable to cross-site WebSocket hijack. To solve the lab, we need to log into the victim's account. Fine. To do this, use the provided exploit server to perform a cross-site WebSocket hijacking attack that exfiltrates the victim's chat history to the default Burp collaborator server. Although we are not going to use Burp collaborator, we are gonna do it manually. The chat history contains the login credential in plain text, and if you have not done this already, so you can go, and there is a module in the Web Security Academy in the ports figure about WebSocket vulnerabilities, which I already recorded, so you can directly go to the WebSocket vulnerabilities playlist and you can watch and solve all those labs. Fine, so I'm just going to enable the Burp proxy on my browser and gonna visit the lab. Proxy server is refusing the connection. Let's see, 8080, because Burp suite is not started yet. And there we go. So if we come back to the Burp proxy, you can see all the requests are now here. So I'm directly going to the live chat feature, and there I'm gonna test few things. So this is our live chat feature, and the system no chat history on the record and connected. Now we can send the message. So hello there, please subscribe me. Okay, and you can see we are getting response from the server side on our chat. Okay, so this is the message what we did, and this is the reply coming from the server. Now let's go, and we are now gonna analyze each and every request. So this is the very first request. You can see here we have okay, slash request is pretty normal, but in the response there is something which is very interesting, and that is within the set cookie, it's gonna setting the same site cookie attribute with the value strict. So once the strict value is being defined, that means the browser is not gonna add any session cookie to the cross site, the site which are not same. Okay, so this is the first thing. Second thing, we go to the slash chat endpoint, and here again you can see request is normal. In the response, let's analyze what's going on in the response. So but this is the interesting part here. You can see this is the WebSocket, okay, on which we are performing the chat action. So this is interesting, and I'm gonna keep it with me, so paste it there. Fine. Another thing I wanna write here, which is let's say this one, copy, and let's just paste that. Okay, so one thing you can see here, that if I ask you whether these two URL are same site or cross site, so you can see this is not same site, this is cross site, because the schema is different. This is the first thing. If both of these schemas are same, then we need to see the domain name. So the domain name is equal, and if the schemas are equal or same, that means this is the same site. But here you can see this is cross site because the schema is different. This is the first thing. Okay, so this was the important point which I already noted down here. The second thing is very important, which is once we visit the /chat endpoint, one script is loaded and the script name is chat.js. You can see here. So let's go and see what this script is all about. So in the response section, you can see all of the JavaScript coding here for that. So it's creating one chat form, message box, all these things, submit button, what this function is gonna perform action, and how it's gonna represent that. And this is for encoding, so it is performing some HTTP encoding. But this one is important for me, okay, because here you can see what this code is doing. This code basically handle messages sent from the server and also manage the connections close and error events by logging systems. Okay, so it is gonna log the messages. And if we go back here in the live chat, and whenever we refresh the page, so you will see one thing here, that every time for the same session, it is going to load all the chats, previous chat, means history of the chat. Let's see, this is again, there is one more chat request with the get HTTP method, and this chat request is telling us that this is the WebSocket handshake request. Why so? How you will know this is the WebSocket handshake request? Because if you see, there is sec WebSocket key is defined. Also, the most important part here is connection request header, where you can see this is upgraded. Okay, and if you see the response, in the response you will find one interesting response status code, which is 101, and it's saying switching the protocol, and the upgrade value is WebSocket and the connection is upgraded. So this is where the WebSocket handshake happens. Fine, back to the main point. I'm going to the web history. Okay, and I'm going to just clear the history so that we can see it from the scratch. Okay, and go back here. I'm just going to refresh the live chat option, and once we refresh it, come on, yeah, it's loaded. Yeah, this is what I just wanted you to see. So you can see once ready message, after this ready message, the communication with the client will happen. So it is gonna send message to the client. So user means me is sending the message to the server, and then the server is going to send me the reply. Then again I'm going to send the message, server is sending me the reply. Okay, so this is what we need to see. And rest of the time, once we are not doing anything, you can see there are few messages keep going after every specific time. So if you see this message, this is actually to find out whether the server is live or not. So again and again we are sending one ping request, and in the response server is sending to the client pong reply in the response. So until this ping and pong both request and response we have, that means the server is alive and the session is established, and we can communicate with each other on this live chat. Fine, going back here, /chat.js. So I actually miss this one also, which I just see. So you can see access control, allow origin, and we found here one more subdomain. Okay, so again I'm going to copy this because this is going to be very, very important for you even in the enumeration phase, where you collect as much information as possible about the target. So reconnaissance, enumeration, if you have some kind of access to the target. So enumeration is the key. Now, if I ask you between this first URL and the third URL, these both are the same site or cross site. So you can see here the schema is same and the underlying domain name is also same. So that means the first URL and the third URL are same site. No matter if the host name or subdomain is different, host name is different, but the underlying domain name and the schemas are same. So these two are the same site. And to bypass same site cookie attribute with the value is strict, it is most important part if you want to bypass, so that you have two same site but with different host name values, and in between that you need to find out some kind of exploit or some kind of other vulnerability that you may use to exploit the other one. Okay, what I wanted to do here is I want to take this part from this new WebSocket to the message, and I'm going to copy this and paste it here. You can see in the /chat request there is no CSRF token. There are high probability that this feature is vulnerable to CSRF, but because of the same site cookie attribute we need to do a lot of work. Fine, so let's go. I'm going to use the same thing, just I'm going to manage it a bit. Okay, I actually don't need this write message because I don't want to write anything. I just want to send this ready message to the WebSocket, and I don't need any response. Okay, so come back here and just manage a bit. Then what I'm going to do, on message, this function event will be called. Whatever data with that event exists, it is going to take that within the variable message. Okay, fine, and because this curly braces is open, so we need to close it. Okay, so fine, this is perfectly fine, and I just want to put here script tags, and we need to close that script tag. Fine, and just I'm gonna copy this back here, go to the exploit server, and let's just paste it in the body section, store this exploit, and then instead of deliver, I just wanna view this exploit. Okay, so back to the exploit server, and now go to the access log so that we see whether we did something or not. Okay, nothing happened. Why? Because up to now we didn't specify here any WebSocket, and whatever message it contains, we need to see that message into our exploit access log. So we need to first of all grab that message, and then we need to send that message to our exploit server. For this purpose, I'm going to take out this one, and within that I need to specify the secure WebSocket URL. So copy that, paste it here, and here I need to specify the fetch function, and within fetch function I need to define my exploit server. So back to the exploit server, and here is the URL for the exploit server. So copy that and back here, paste it, and now the thing is, I'm gonna specify here one parameter, let's say data is equal to, and because the event data exists within the variable message, so we copy that and paste it here. So whatever message exists within the message variable, it will take that. Fine. So again, gonna copy this and back to the exploit server, paste it here, store it, and view exploit. So now we need to go back to the exploit server and I'm going to access the logs. Okay, so this is the place where we just wait a moment. We access the exploit server, but we do not have any message. Store it one more time and view exploit. Okay, go back and let's try to access the logs here. And yeah, now this time you can see after exploit there is a parameter data, and within the data whatever content or whatever data exists within the event data, we have it here. So if I copy this and go to the decoder, paste it in the decoder and smart decode, so you can see we have this message. Although you can see we do not have all the history. You may think like we have history in our chat. Why this history is not showing here? The thing here is this is actually creating the new connection. Why? Because of the SameSite strict attribute cookie, it is not going to send the session cookie in the cross-site request. And without session cookie, it's not going to identify which session is this, and it's creating the new session. This is the new connection message. This is the new session message because it does not identify the session. And at this place, we need to bypass the SameSite strict cookie attribute restrictions so that we can find out the live chat history of the victim. Fine, so let's go. What we have here. Okay, this is the interesting part because we find out this one. This is CMS portal, and we need to see what's inside this CMS portal. Okay, very well. We have one login page, and if I try WIENER Wiener and the password is Peter, let's see. Because in the lab we are not given any kind of credential, and as you can see, invalid username. But if you see this response after trying to log in, what comes into your mind immediately? So you input, you type some username or password here, but once you log in the request, the username, whatever you input here, is rendered on the page. And this condition very strongly telling us that this is gonna be reflected cross-site scripting. So why not? I'm gonna try script alert 1 and close the script tag. The very basic payload for exploiting or testing the XSS, reflected XSS or whatever. So login, don't save, and as you can see there is nothing and the alert is popped up. So that means this is vulnerable to XSS. Okay, very well done. So now I'm going back to the proxy, and this is the login post request, this one. Okay, and you can see invalid username, and then our script is rendered here. Okay, and that's why the alert is popped up. Fine, so I'm gonna send this request to the repeater, go back to the repeater, and now if you can see, this is our payload with which we can load the message first of all, and then we can grab that message by sending all of those messages to this endpoint. Okay, now because the thing is WebSocket URL is not the same side because of this schema, but this part is, this one is same site with this, because the underlying domain name and the schema is same. So we need to create something, let's say document dot location is equal to, and we need to sending the request through this URL by chaining the XSS. So whatever script you can see here, whatever script we put as a username, it is going to be executed. But the problem here is this request is post. So let's see, I'm going to change this request method to get, and let's try one more time. Send this request, and as you can see, invalid username script alert. So this is very fine because our script is on the place, and this is gonna pop up the alert function. Fine. So we are going to, let's say I'm gonna copy this URL and paste it here. Fine. Now the purpose here is, instead of this script, we can try other script. Okay, because you can see this script was working fine. So I'm going to copy this script, going to the decoder, and instead of that I'm gonna paste that script, and let's just encode it as URL and copy this back to the mousepad, and instead of this script I'm gonna paste that. Wait a moment. This is incorrect. Why so? Because I did not include the script tag. So let's just copy one more time, Control A. Now script tag is included, and this is gonna be our payload. So copy this back again. Username is gonna be this, right? Yeah. Fine. And here again we need to add a script tag. So script, and at last we need to close this script tag. Okay. Fine. So we can try to check one more time here. So instead of this username, let's put that and send this request to just see whether it's coming and rendered here correctly or not. Okay, so you can see invalid username, and with the script tag it's showing us everything. Okay, so that is perfect. Just what we need is, we need to copy that back to our exploit server, and instead of this I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, now just store it and deliver exploit to the victim. Fine, it's delivered successfully. Now try to access the log. So click on access log. Within the access log you can see this is the victim user, because this is all our IP. This is different IP, so this is the victim user 100%, and as you can see that contains the data. So what actually is happening here, before going to solve the lab, I must need to explain one more time. So what actually is happening here, that whenever the ready message is sent, so if we come back here, go to the proxy WebSocket history, come on, it's too far. So you can see here, whenever the ready message, oh come on man, okay, this is fine. So whenever we send the ready message to the server, you can see to the server, so after that it is gonna initiate the communication. Okay, so I sent something, then server is sending something to client. So the message I'm gonna send, server is gonna send me the reply. Fine. Now because this is, you can see here to client, because uh, we just refresh the page of the live chat and where we already have something. So that's why here we are seeing two client, because uh, we are not sending anything to the server, just this ready message, and rest of the things in the history, whatever we send, the message server is sending to the client. Okay, but if we send something, let's say I'm gonna clear the history here. Okay, and come on. So if I say hello, whatever, okay, live chat, we need to, because it is disconnected, so we need to refresh the page again. Okay, now it's online. So hello, okay, again the server is typing some message. Okay, then CC send this back here. So now you can see these messages are here. Okay, so this is the first message which is ready. Then this is all our history. This is all our history. Now here the ping message is going to the server to see whether server is alive or connection is alive or not, session is alive or not. So this is the ping pong message. Now we are sending message to the server, then again to the server. This is the ping message, ignore this. So we send the message to the server, then server is sending reply to us like this. Okay, so after sending the ready, it is going to bring us all the history, and that history message or history data we are going to put it in a message variable. Okay, and for this we create one function, and the function taking the argument evt, which is event, you can say. So dot on message. Okay, so what I am doing is taking this whole data within this variable and sending it to the exploit server by putting this message value as the data parameter value. Okay, so this is what we are doing. And why our exploit is working, because you can see this is the site which is the same site as this site, because the domain name and the schema is same. So once the request is sent to this by the victim, so the victim cookie will be added, session cookie, victim session cookie will be added in the request. And once the session cookie is added in the request, that means the server will identify that user and its chat history through his session ID. And that's why once this is script then executing, so within this script the server is gonna give us all the messages whatever in the history which is saved here, and then we send that by accessing this URL. So this is actually, you can say, a workaround by sending that message as the value of the parameter. Okay, so if we add that value here as the parameter, it's not gonna do anything, but in the access log we will see that those requests, and from those requests we can exfiltrate. We already exfiltrated the data, but now we just need to decode this, because you can see this is URL encoded. So back to the decoder and delete everything, paste that and smart decode. So you can see content, thanks, I hope this does not come back to bite me. This message, we did not write this message, so that means this is coming from someone else session. Okay, so one by one I'm going to take everything, pasting here, again take this one, Control C, paste that here, now taking this one, copy, pasting it here, and the last one is this, copy, and gonna paste it here. Now in one time just click on smart decode, or we can say decode as URL, and you can see all these message histories here. So you content is thanks, I hope this does not come back to bite me. Then it's saying no problem Carlos, it's off. I don't know what it is right now, but it's saying how can I help you, I forget my password. So I think the session comes into the two part. This is the first part, but because the response time may be different, so we get this response first and later this response, I don't know, but I think the conversation start from here. So the server is asking how I can help you, then Carlos is asking saying that I forgot my password. Okay, and then it's saying no problem Carlos, it's your password. So I think this is the Carlos password, which I'm gonna copy here and back to our lab, my account. The username is Carlos and the password we already copied. Paste and login. Yeah, we logged in successfully and you can see the lab is solved. So my purpose, my videos maybe took much time, but my purpose is just not to solve the labs, but I wanted to make you understand, and I can explain as much as I can, even the very small points or very easy things, so that if someone is on the beginner stage, they can also understand it very well. I hope you like the content, and please like, subscribe and share. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.